Man, you can't sit still listening to that intro. Hello, everyone. Welcome to American Scouts' Prematch show. We are less than 30 minutes now away from kickoff. The lineups are out. I am your host, Timuchin, with John. John, what's happening?
I'm good. Like I said yesterday, I missed the morning show, but that made me, be available for this show. And it's a good thing too, because it seems like it's just the two of us, right?
It's the gift
Mid
that keeps on giving. It's hard to get these people have jobs and stuff. It's hard
yeah.
to get the midday crowds during the week. I should say midweek crowd, because obviously, like, the game is like, I mean, I don't know, you're an hour ahead, I think, of me, right? It's like 11:17 a.m. where I'm at. So most people have, that's the advantage of working from this has been the biggest advantage of working from home. But let's get to the lineup. A lot stronger than we thought or anticipated, I think. So Keller in goal, Gomez at right, Costas at left, right? Where is he?
No, Robertson had left.
Oh, Robertson at left. Actually,
Yeah.
I originally saw a different lineup that Fubo was apparently just guessing. Then I look
Right.
at the lineup, then I see Endo's photo. I was like, he wasn't even in the lineup. I'm like, McAllister was in the press conference. How come he's not in the lineup? Kind of a deal. But we have Endo, McAllister, and I'm assuming Elliott in midfield, right?
Elliott in midfield, yeah.
And Gakpo, Nunez, Diaz up top. And then Kwanzaa and Konate, obviously, as the center back. It's a lot stronger than I thought. So we are, sounds like, John, we're doing the other way. We want to kind of put it away first, at least get it to a good spot, and then start rotating.
Yeah, it's a lineup that screams that we want to bring a decent cushion back to the second leg, which I believe is next week, right? So there's very little turnaround in terms of this competition, and which is good, Obviously, if we manage to get this done, it kind of gives us momentum heading into the big match in the weekend, and if that works out, then we're pretty much in full flow in terms of form and sharpness. It's actually great to see Kelleher start. There's been like this rumor going around midweek where he somehow got injured again, but then it was confirmed that it's nothing. So this is like our confirmation. And that midfield, I really like that midfield. It's really balanced. I love how McAllister plays when he has a proper DM behind him in Endo. And that's like kind of been our go-to midfield pairing when, given the injuries to Gravenberg, Szoboszlai, and all of that. So looking forward to them kind of building off that partnership. Salah off the bench and Szoboszlai off the bench, kind of a break glass in case of emergency. Tim, do you see them playing at all?
I think you almost have to. I actually was happy to see Salah on the bench. I think it's,
Right.
you don't put him on the bench if you don't intend to put him in at one point, I feel. And I think if he was not on the bench today, there was no chance he was starting, I thought, against City. And then, maybe we would get him 15, 20 minutes against City. I think this signals if he I guess really depends on how many minutes he gets today. I know, like Klopp was talking about in the press conference yesterday, that he only had like 2 training sessions in with the team. And he even said normally somebody who gets 2 training sessions would not be on the bench or in the lineup. But I don't know. I almost feel like this is... you are also thinking about the next game coming up. So if he comes in 20 to 30 minutes, I think we can say, maybe he's going to start on Sunday. If he comes in on like 10 minutes or so, I think you still put him like he can give you 30 minutes on Sunday or something like that. I think it's a huge and a positive sign that he traveled for one and then he's on the bench.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's definitely going to be an indication, like, in terms of what you're saying, when he comes in, if he's going to be starting. Personally, I'd rather go the conservative route for this. Obviously, we know what happened when we brought him in against, was that Bournemouth, right? Or was it Brentford? Yeah, where he came in and, geez, like, he was out for 2 more weeks. So, like, listen, this is a game where it's very important, but then everyone, I'm sure, is watching this game with one eye open towards Sunday, Mo Salah included, and Klopp included, I feel. So this should be, I know Sir Z and the others aren't here to freaking police me for my jinxing, but this should be a team that should get the job done, right? If we don't get anything but a win here, it's going to be massively disappointing. I'm sure it's safe to say.
especially with this lineup now, right?
Yes.
I mean, if it was like a lot more kids and a lot more rotation, you could say, we'll even take a draw, go back, and then we'll finish it off at Anfield kind of deal. But
Yeah.
I think when you put this lineup out there, yes, now you do expect a victory. I guess the biggest thing is, by the way, if you're following us, if you're watching us live right now on Twitter or Facebook, on Instagram, be sure to check out our YouTube channel and give us a follow over there and subscribe as well so that you get notified instantly. I think you have to click the notification thing as well, but otherwise you get access to our content, including these pre-matches and post-matches and all that other shows. But um, I think, when we were talking about rotation, I think it was like yesterday, we were talking about like who would come in and stuff like that. Well, we were like, we'll give him 30 minutes. We'll give him 30 minutes. And we kind of like ran out of substitutions. Looking at this now, there are a lot of starters out there. Who do you think, if you take 5 out, assuming there are no injuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is the 5 that is going to stub out? Or more important, let me ask you this way. Who is going to be expected to give you 90?
I would definitely not give McAllister 90. That's for sure. Same with Elliott, because Elliott's been playing 90 for like the past, 4 or 5 games, including the cup final. Probably Kwanzaa gives you a 90. Gomez would give you a 90 because, I mean, the fact that he's starting Gomez here means he probably might do a Bradley this Sunday, if that makes sense. Although I personally am nervous, that idea. I would rather a Gomez, even though it's at Anfield, I'd rather a Gomez against the speedy wingers of Man City. I don't know. That's a conversation for the pre-match this Sunday. But yeah, it probably Kwanzaa, probably Gomez. Don't be surprised to see Van Dijk come in for Konate, maybe with another 45 in case maybe we're in the lead or maybe things are a bit shaky. We're 1-0 up or something and we need someone to shore up the back line. But I would say Gakpo as well, because with Mo here, given the fact that he's making the bench, like you said, it was probably Klopp probably gives the players 2-3 training sessions before they're probably fully fit enough to be on the bench. Maybe him being here, it'll all depend on when we bring him in. If you bring him for the last 30, I feel like Gakpo's staying the 90 because that means Mo is going to be starting this Sunday, if that makes sense. So yeah, it'd probably be Gakpo, Kwanzaa, Gomez. As much as I don't want Endo to play the whole 90 team, I feel like you have to with him.
Man, that's what scares me. I mean, you look at this and you're like, I really don't want to play him 90. Not him either. Not him. And then you run out of numbers, right? Mm-hmm. I really feel like, against a team like City, you do want McAllister and Endo to be fresher, and you have young kids that can come in for them. I think Gakpo and Elliott play the entire game. We're trying to break a record with Elliott, see how many minutes we can get out of him.
So if Elliott plays the 90, does that mean you think Szoboszlai starts this Sunday?
I think so. I mean, like I say, this is all depending on like how many minutes we see these guys get, right? If they come in the second half, I mean, this was like a conversation we had yesterday where we felt everything is already predetermined. Like how the game goes is not going to dictate how many minutes everybody gets. So like we're already planning, like you said, I can see that as a very likely substitution, similar to what we did in the Southampton game, where Konate comes out and Van Dijk comes in, and that's already planned. Regardless of how the game is going, you get 45 because you guys are both going to play on Sunday. I almost feel like it's the same case with midfield. Like maybe Szoboszlai is scheduled for 30. You take McAllister out of 60. Szoboszlai comes in at 30. And then you can milk 90 minutes out of Elliott because then you're going to start Szoboszlai on, like Sunday and stuff like that. But like I say, there's probably 6-7 names in that lineup I see that I did not really want them to play 90. And unfortunately, you can substitute more than 5. So that's going to be tricky. Like Robertson is another name. I don't know if you want Robertson out there for 90. But here's another thing. And I mean, is that maybe what Klopp is thinking? If you take a, 2-0 lead or something like that, you have a premature squad out there that can milk the game and not wear themselves down, control the ball, control the pace, and kind of like milk the game, put everybody to sleep. So yeah, if you take an early lead, this might not be the fun, like 5-0, 6-0 game that you would want to see afterwards. This might be more of we got 2, we're good. Let's just control the game. If we get something, we get something, especially as the kids start coming in.
Yeah. as I said a while ago, I feel like everyone, this is a game that we have to get a result, but then everyone has one eye open towards Sunday.
Yeah.
So yeah, with Robertson, I do understand starting him. I always look back at when we got this tie. The first thing that came to mind was a few years ago in the 2019 Champions League group stage where we went against Red Star Belgrade. Everyone was like, oh, that's a cakewalk. Sure, it's just a small team, blah, blah, blah. And we get beat 2-0. Yeah. Like here, all due respect to the opposition, we're 100% the better team. But you'll never know in these kinds of games with their home floor, with what the crowd into it and everything. So I understand going with experience here. But at the same time, it's kind of tricky for Klopp. We're kind of getting reinforcements back given our injuries, but there's still like that fine tightrope that he has to walk in terms of managing the fatigue, but also at the same time making sure that these players are sharp enough, which is why I feel like he's going to be going a lot with these 30s, 45s for these players. And yeah, with Robertson, I think it's the same. Like everyone forgets he just recently came back from a massive injury. Like he started the cup final and he hasn't looked 100% like the Robertson of old.
Maybe is that why he's playing, by the way? He
right,
gets
exactly.
more into rhythm.
Exactly. Like it's a fine line. Everyone's like, let's stop starting him. He's gonna injure himself or something. But then there's also the idea of sharpness. And a fully sharp Robertson is, if we're gonna be winning more than the Carabao Cup this year, is what we need. So the faster we get him back to speed, the better, I say.
And I think, that's a good point of like where we're going. I mean, I was saying this earlier this week too, that, I mean, it's a whole different ball game going away to Nottingham Forest or somewhere and going to like another country, especially like stadiums like these. It's a smaller stadium, but it does like have like a huge atmosphere to it. I watched them play against Galatasaray. It was like a couple of weeks ago or whatever. And I think it's very foreign, like literally as well. But, it's just like a totally different atmosphere for a young kid to start in. So I think Klopp has kind of thought the same way, put the experienced guys out there who are not going to be rocked by going to an atmosphere like this, control the game, and then bring in the kids as you go. I mean, you look at that bench. I mean, like I say, we do expect Van Dijk, Szoboszlai, and Mo to come in and get minutes, right? One way or the other to get minutes. So that only leaves you two guys to come in and, as the young guys. The Polish Messi is on the bench, by the way. So that was like an interesting one. When I saw the squad traveling, I was like, oh, there he is, because we've been talking about him forever. Who are the two you think that come in? If I said already that Van Dijk, Szoboszlai, and Mo are going to be coming in.
Well, Clark and McConnell, probably.
For Endo and McAllister, you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I just said that I think Endo's playing the full 90, but I don't want him to play the full 90.
Yeah.
So, this is kind of me manifesting him trying to be rested. Like, everyone's talking about how Elliott was put through the ringer the last few days. Endo as well over the last few weeks, right? So, listen, he was interviewed about this and he was like, oh, this is the job. This is what we do, which is excellent, by the way, to have a player with that kind of mentality. But, mentality doesn't necessarily cover up all the bruises, all the fatigue, all the wear on those legs. So, and Endo being our only true defensive midfielder, we kind of have to, listen, he doesn't really have a history of being injury prone or anything, but I feel like we kind of have to give him the bubble wrap treatment as much as we can, as much as humanly possible. Although, we also kind of have to recognize that may not be possible considering how good he's been and how effective our setup has been with a proper defensive midfielder there. So, hopefully the game is pretty much over enough so we could bring out Endo, if that makes sense. Because if it's kind of in the balance, I feel like there's a chance Klopp might stick with him the entire 90.
Yeah, see, I still feel like this is pre-planned. Like we're going. I mean, because I guess I'm not anticipating it to go too south. What you say, it's not going the way you want. it's 1-1, 2-1, we're losing or something like that. So I don't think that's like you press the emergency button. You kind of stick to your plan if you had a plan on. And I think that's because of Sunday, really. If you hadn't have Sunday looming right behind it, you would probably treat this game, not probably, you would definitely treat this game a lot more differently. But you have to bear in mind Sunday, and you have to be ready for that game, and you have to rotate. And you have a guys coming back from injury. So even if you were playing Burnley on Sunday, you still have to kind of start easing in, Szoboszlai and Mo and stuff like that. Clearly, Nunez is the most ready one, but I can see him coming out and not giving you full 92 because Nunez, when I said like it's a mature lineup, so you can trust Robertson, you can trust Gomez and say, hey, you know what? Just play controlled football. I don't think Nunez can, even if he wanted to. He's going to run like a maniac. So that's his DNA. I don't think he has that, he doesn't have a different gear that he can like kind of like come down to and kind of like control his minutes. So there's a lot to be considered because of Sunday looming and all these injuries and stuff like that. But definitely a positive sign seeing these guys over there. So let's go to this. I know before when we were talking about it earlier in the week and over the weekend after the game, we anticipated a lot more youth, a lot more rotation and stuff like that. So the score expectation was a lot less. Are you basically expecting nothing but like almost like finishing the round over here in the away game for the most part, now that we're putting out really our best starting 11 we can, except probably maybe Van Dijk?
Yeah, that's a reasonable expectation, but I feel like it's gonna be more of a game where maybe we score 1 or 2 and then we just control it. I don't think we're gonna be going super all out, leaving ourselves open at the back, because let's face it, if we go super all out and without Van Dijk there will be a bit of gaps to exploit in terms of over the top balls and everything. Like, obviously I'm not as familiar with how the opposition plays, but again, they're at home, they're going to be playing at, you were talking about shifting gears, they're going to be playing at a higher gear than usual. Obviously playing Liverpool is a dream, so they're going to be trying to take advantage of it as much as they can. So I would say if the opportunity presents itself to kill the game, just pass it around, just don't give them a look in. Just whenever they attack, press well and control the possession. I think we'll take it. So
yeah,
I mean, people will say 3-4-0, but I think a 2-0 where we absolutely kill the game is something that I would take all day long heading to Anfield.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I say, putting this lineup out there just shows the intention that you do want to put this away. So that's why you kind of like expected. Before, I was okay with like a reasonable score to come back to Anfield with and finish it off in Anfield, but we clearly trying to kind of like finish off the round over here. Are you being arrested in the background, or are they coming for you? Or
yeah, that's why I muted my thing. That's why I don't want the viewers to get any ideas. The police are coming because they're like, "Oh, John is about to jinx this entire game again." So,
well, that's a good segue over here. As some of our some of our contributors are getting arrested and in legal trouble, we are looking always for backups for people like John who are about to get yanked. If you're interested in joining American Scouser, send us a message, whatever you're watching, really, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, just send us a message over there and then we'll be in contact. Really looking for contributors in a wide range of areas, anything from video editors, sound editors, social media. We're adding a lot of new content. So want more faces, want more opinions, and want people not in legal trouble. Okay. Prediction time as we get ready to head on over to the game. What do you expect to see game-wise and score-wise?
Game-wise, looks like the kind of game, as you said, looks like the kind of game where we try and go at them from the first whistle, and then when we get a decent enough score, like a 2-3-0, we pretty much kill it off. So I'm going with a 3-0. I know I said 2-0, we'll take it, kill it off, but I'll say we go with a 3-0. Very professional performance, if that makes sense. We'll have chances, a lot of them, we'll take it. And then back line, I feel like with Konate there, his leadership is improving. So I feel like this is the kind of game where he's trying to show why he's Verge's next successor, marshaling that entire back line and ordering Kwanzaa around and everything. Because as good as Kwanzaa's been, I'm worried that he might let in the odd chance here and there. And, with these two-legged ties, we kind of have to, keep a clean shot there at the back, keep a clean sheet. So, yeah, I'm hoping for a 3-0 professional performance.
I would love a 3-0. I do think they squeak one through, and I hope that's not the one that wakes us up. I go with the too much in special. I think I was going with like a 2-1 and stuff earlier, but with this lineup, I think we will get our goals. I almost envision like a scene where they get an early chance. Whether they capitalize or not, I don't know, but then we will need a wake-up call to get going, and I think I do agree. Putting this lineup out there, there's a very strong message I feel like being sent to the squad by Field in this 11 as well, that we are taking this seriously. We got to go all in. This head has to be in this game and not on Sunday. That's probably like the biggest hurdle, is not thinking about Sunday. It's easy because we are, right? And we're thinking, the minutes and everything are related to it too, but the guys on the pitch can't be thinking about Sunday. They got to focus on what they're going to do. Sergi says, why do people expect Kwanzaa to make a mistake? I've yet to see him make a clanger. I've seen,
there's been quite a few
envisioned by clanger, but I've seen him like make a few mistakes, like any defender would do. And I think when you look, I don't want to speak on your behalf, but I guess when you look at that back four, he's the most likely, because I don't know if I have more faith in Gomez than most other people, but
as good as he's been, like obviously he's been really great. Like, let's not take my comment out of context. He's been really great. But then obviously, as you said, if there is someone you should try and attack, you'd rather go against Kwanzaa than, let's say, a Kanate, who's very good at one-on-one, who's really fast, who wins everything in the air. So listen, there's been some holes with his positioning and everything, but obviously it hasn't cost us, and he's still a very young kid. So that's just me probably nitpicking for the sake of it, but otherwise he's been really good. Probably an 8 out of 10 season.
Yeah, like I said, he's been the one that we totally forget that he just came out of nowhere. Like, he wasn't in the preseason plans. And hey, I love Matip, and he was a big loss. There are so many times in these games where I feel like, man, if Matip was out there, they wouldn't be able to pull this off, especially the way they defend and stuff like that. So he's a big miss, but Kwanzaa has filled in. I don't think most people didn't know his name before the season started, and now he's your number 3.
As Kazi loves to say, if you saw him walking down the street, you genuinely wouldn't know he was a Liverpool player before this season.
Yes, exactly. And that's very accurate. I think that goes with, for all of us for the most part. So, but yeah, he's done excellent. I think Gomez, for all the shit he gets from fans in general, has done excellent in multiple positions.
I feel like that was some shade thrown at me last summer. Like,
I'm just saying. There are people out there.
Hey, I wrote a Gomez piece a few months ago, and that's my apology. In the American Scouser website, I wrote a write-up praising him. So that's my apology piece for Joey G, right?
Which I talked to him. He does accept your apology. So you're good. You're good now. So, well, we'll let everybody head on over to their TVs, laptops, monitors, bars, whatever, or grab the last beer if you're at a pub or whatever, and then get ready for the game. The post-match will not be immediately after the final whistle like we normally do, since we have the podcast going on tonight. So the boys at the podcast on the Thursday night podcast will be talking a lot about the game and post-match. So be sure to tune in then, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. As always, thanks to all those watching, following us today. Give us a like, subscribe. If you're watching on Twitter, like I say, head on over to YouTube. Give us a follow there as well. Definitely appreciate the support. And then let's hope the boys are talking tonight about a very comfortable win with a lot more positives as we head on over this Sunday as well. Enjoy the game, everybody, and we'll see you guys tonight. Take care.
Take care, guys.